starts recording. All right, welcome you guys who's all in the video chat or who are going to watch this after the fact to the weekly Wake Up Wahai video chat with teachers and students alike. Today's topic is more epic than ever. Are Marvel movies done, or do they still have a second wind? And today we have some exciting teachers and staff on the call, and I'll get us talk about that in a second. But my icebreaker today is for those who are on the call, if you were a Marvel movie character, who would you be and why? And I'll start out because obviously I'm wearing Batman, so I'm supposed to be. If I was a Marvel character, I would definitely want to be Wolverine because he's boss, and his healing factor is pretty good. So that's why I would want to be Wolverine. We'll go ahead and pass it to Mr. Postweight / Thor. Who would you be if you're a Marvel superhero?
If I was a Marvel superhero, I'd probably be this guy that's sitting right over here.
The Blue Devil?
No, go ahead and take it off. Show them who you really are. Yeah. A little bit of Deadpool for you.
That's very white.
But I'd be Deadpool.
All right. And Aiden Stiller joins us. Aiden, if you were a Marvel superhero character, who would you be?
I don't know many of the Marvel superheroes. I only recently got into the Marvel movies.
Sure.
Spider-Man, maybe.
All right.
He's one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, he's pretty slick. Pretty dope. What about you, Garrett?
I say the Hulk.
The Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it looks like we... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I watched, I think it was the first Hulk movie I ever saw. It was the first superhero I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
That was the thing I first saw. It was very confusing because of the flipping frames they put on the movie. It was like a comic already, and I'm trying to pick up all what's going on.
Yeah.
But it was the first thing I ever saw, and I like it.
Let's see here. We got Mr. Swanson. Are you on the video call there?
Yes, I am. So I also don't know exactly like who's Marvel and who's whatever, but could I be Superman?
Unfortunately, no. That's the wrong universe. So
Son of a gun. Who fly? Which Marvel characters fly?
Well, we got Captain Marvel. She flies. The Human Torch. She's on fire, and he flies. Let's see here. Who else flies? Thor flies.
Oh, Thor. Yeah, I'll be Thor.
Yeah,
that would be cool. And he has a big hammer too that causes bad things to happen. I think so. Yeah, I'll use my hammer for good.
Good. Very, very awesome. Then we have Mila Flowers. Mila, welcome. If you were a Marvel superhero, who would you be?
There's so many to choose. Like, I've always loved Thor from the movies, but I also love Star-Lord, and the comics, I love Scarlet Witch. So I have like a top two: Thor or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, awesome. Is that everybody on the chat currently? I think that is. Sweet. Well, if other people come in, we'll have to ask the question. I know a lot of people are going to be watching this after the fact too. But so, are Marvel movies done, or do they have a second wind? If you guys did sign up for the sign up, that's great. I have this little link I'll put in the chat box. I know you guys came. And today your hosts are myself, aka the Yellow Dart, and special guest host Thor, aka Jason Postweight, Mr. Postweight, Mr. P. I don't know if they call you Mr. P, but I just put it on. People do?
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, our after school program has a cool website called wallawallaafterschool.com where we post daily stuff we're doing. It's not all crap. It's actually kind of fun. And then, so what did Google have to say? Is Marvel done making movies? And this is what I searched just a little while ago. And according to what they say here, Marvel's got plans all the way till past 2022. So according to, ignore that other thing, I left that from something else. And according to that, they still are doing stuff. And in fact, if you're Mila, you've seen every single one of these movies. Has everyone seen these movies? Has anyone seen any of these movies? That's the true question.
I've seen them all.
I think I have.
You've seen them all?
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Aiden? Aiden or Garrett, have you guys seen these movies?
I think
A few of them.
Yeah?
I've seen most of them. Not the most newest. They're pretty.
Yeah. But these are all their current movies that they've produced, and I know one that hasn't come out yet is Black Widow, which is going to be coming out soon. So that's the next one.
And they moved it to November.
They moved it to November.
November 6th, yeah.
Oh, that's a bunch of horse manure.
Here they.
Corona.
And then they've talked about Phase 4, which is stuff coming out. So this is obviously out of date, but they have lots of movies and TV shows planned for Marvel. I don't know if you guys keep up with that, but they have things like Black Widow, which we talked about, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, which is like a martial arts movie, WandaVision TV show, Loki TV show, Hawkeye TV show, Blade, that's like a comeback from the 90s, Fantastic Four, and Thor, Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange, and who knows what If is. Does anyone know what If?
They have What If is like if Captain America wasn't Captain America, but instead it was somebody else, or if someone wasn't involved, you know, it's what would have happened if it's alternate history in the Marvel universe.
So is that an animated show or is that going to be a live action?
It's going to be animated. Peggy is going to be the new Captain America, but she'll be Captain Britain instead.
Oh.
And then get started. That's like the first one.
Very interesting choices.
Captain Britain. It'll be interesting to see what kind of political ramifications England would have if they had a super soldier.
I think that's very scary.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty scary. Much stronger than Captain America.
Yes, and better hair. But so the true question is Marvel done? And so we're gonna give it over to Mr. P, Mr. Postweight, real quick to give us kind of a highlight. Do you think Marvel is done or not?
I just don't see it happening anywhere in the near future. You look at what's coming out with Disney Plus, and like you were talking about WandaVision, it's going to introduce all the X-Men during that whole thing. That was from, the comics, that's canon. And you have the Eternals coming out. You're talking about the Loki TV show, WandaVision, Shang-Chi, Superman 3 is going to come out and introduce Venom into that universe, along with, the Dracula character. And they're going to get the Sinister Six involved. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool to see all the stuff that's coming out. It's just going to keep getting bigger. And then they'll introduce the first family of Marvel, which is Fantastic Four. And when that comes out, it'll blow up again.
We'll come back to that. What do you guys think in general? Mila, Garrett, anybody, what do you guys think? Is Marvel done, or do you feel like they have a second wind? What do you guys think?
I think they have a second wind.
Yeah?
I think so.
Why, Garrett?
Yeah, I think they have a second one. They have a lot more coming and noticing new characters in the comics. So
I think that too. Just got to be creative, which everyone can be.
See, I know Mia's waiting for Squirrel Girl to come out. I can see it. She's gonna like to have Squirrel Girl out with Spider-Man. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Heck yeah.
What does Squirrel Dude do?
She can talk to squirrels, and she has a tail, and she's pretty crazy and funny. Yeah, it's on the new Disney Plus. You can watch some of the new stuff on it, but she's pretty inventive.
And this is what I'll throw you guys' way. And I love superhero movies. My dad was a comic book collector in the 80s, in 90s and 60s and 70s, actually. You remember you could buy a comic book and gum and a soda for under $1. That's what my dad remembers. I don't know. Life was never that cheap for me. But so my dad's stoked about it, but I feel like I'm wondering how long the American public will love to see superhero movies. Do you think it'll last
Forever.
longer, or do you think we're getting tired of it? I mean, we've had like so many Batman movies, though I like Batman, but you know what I mean? Do you think we're tired of it?
Maybe.
Looking at history, everyone wants to have a release. Everyone wants to have something other than what we're dealing with, especially with what's going on now. Someone's going to want to have some escapism, and that's what's going to help. And I don't know if the movie theaters are going to have it all. I mean, I've noticed stuff now on Prime, Amazon Prime, where they're just coming straight to video instead of going to the movie theater because of all the stuff that's going on. Maybe that's the new deal where you just buy it for $20, you know, and it's yours. But maybe the movies are done, like going to the movies. But maybe drive-ins will start up now, or maybe, you know, Amazon Prime or Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever else, you know, we'll have those go in there and it'll be the big deal.
I agree with Mr. Postlewaite. I think it's just built into our DNA. It's part of the human condition. We're always striving for something that we don't quite have or that we can't quite do, and so. So superheroes are a way for us to, you know, live kind of larger than life.
Must have it all.
And I think that, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the more turmoil there is in the world, the more there will be a need for that kind of expression. I think that it's like he said, you know, it's part of our condition. We want to see justice win, and we want to see evil discouraged, and we want to go beyond what our limits are as human beings to achieve these things. I think it's going to keep going. It might not be the same, but we will always need it. I think it'll always be part of our culture.
The morality lessons too are kind of interesting, where it's always an absolute. You know, good always triumphs over evil.
Right.
You always get that. The character like Captain America is probably the best example. I mean, he is the Boy Scout, right? I mean, he's the guy who talks about doing what's right no matter what. You know, standing next to the river of truth. Plant your tree, stay there, stand, right? No matter who says it. And I think that we really crave that because we are inundated with people that talk out of both sides of their mouth, either in politics, news, whatever else goes around. You know, you always get that. I mean, people want to know exactly what's going on and have that perfect ideal. It's something to strive towards. I don't know if anyone will ever get to that point and be able to survive the rigors of what goes on in the real world, but I think it's kind of an interesting thing if you keep at it.
One of the things that my dad always would say is that DC always had buff heroes. Marvel always dealt with real life. And I think that's interesting that if you look at character studies, like Iron Man in the comics was an alcoholic and dealt with a lot of trouble, and his family was a family of alcoholics. And how did he rise above his addictions? And they haven't used that in the Marvel movies, really. Kind of in Iron Man 2, if you watch it. Not really.
Well, they did put Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, so
that's kind of real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like people like in Marvel movies, and some of them, especially the really good ones, like Captain America is a guy out of time, right? Where like America's concepts of World War II and how we've grown and progressed now. There's some great things that we've grown into, and some things that he feels like are. It's an interesting character study to see if how would we exist if you got sent into the future, and then all of a sudden people believe other things than you, and are all your beliefs right or all your beliefs wrong? And, like, it's a really cool character study that Marvel movies can do, right? Like, it's interesting. You know, Mila, you were talking about Thor, and why do you like Thor?
Come on, Thor.
I just when I first saw him the first minute, I loved him, and then I love like the way like where he began as kind of arrogant, and then like where he is like in the third movie with Ragnarok, and it's just like, and then in the with the Avengers, he's also very funny, and he just has some really cool powers. So
Yeah. Thor's story is really interesting because he's kind of a pseudo alien god character, and then by the end of the run of where he's at now, he's kind of trying to discover who he is if he doesn't have a title. Who is he? If he doesn't have a job, who is he deep inside? And I thought that was a really interesting where they're going to take the Thor character. I had a parapro, Amy. She texted me and she just said that Thor is not done. Captain America's old. He passes shield on. There's going to be more with Black Widow. I hope they find a way to make it so she's not dead in the future.
yeah.
I think I did. I think it did on all that.
Captain America will be back.
You think Captain America's going to be back?
Oh yeah, he'll be back.
For all those who
Kang.
Garrett, what do you think about? Do you think that the Marvel movies has a second wind? You still there, Garrett?
Yeah, just wait, hold on.
Yeah. Well, hold on, Garrett.
Wait, what? What was the question?
Where do you feel like, Garrett, that Marvel movies are? Do you feel like they can keep captivating new audiences?
To a point.
Like, what do you think they can do to captivate new audiences?
Make new superheroes.
Okay. Aiden, you said you just got into Marvel movies, like you watched Spider-Man. What is it about Spider-Man that kept you going? Because it's as someone who's just kind of getting into the Marvel movies.
Actually, I don't think I did watch Spider-Man. I watched the two Guardians of the Galaxies.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
What did you like about those, or how did it get you involved into it?
I definitely thought they were funny. I liked how creative and the characters are. I don't really think superheroes will really get unpopular. I think the problem is that Marvel had one big story, and now it's over. Will they ever be able to replicate something like that again?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Maybe.
What do you think, Thor, Mr. Postlewaite? Do you think they can make another big story?
If they can get people vested in the characters like they did, the standalone movies did a great job. I mean, you got to learn all about all these superheroes by themselves, and then they all started to get introduced to each other, and they played it perfect because there was comedy, there was a lot of seriousness involved in it. They made you care about the characters, and then when certain things happened to characters, because I'm not going to say it, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen them. But when bad things happened to him, you cared about it, and it was a hard thing. And when Thanos snaps his fingers, and I have my kids in the theater, and we're watching this, and what happens. All of a sudden now, there's tears. There's, oh my God, no, not him.
No, he's dead.
And you see, especially when they got you really super vested in Peter Parker. And you saw that was a big deal. It was an emotional thing, and you can still see it when you watch it. When you can rewatch a movie and still be vested in it, I mean, it pays. Yeah, that's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Yeah, when what happened to Peter Parker in Infinity War, I cried.
Mhm.
I'm gonna admit it. He had this like father-son connection with Iron Man. Yeah, and I sadly cried. I've only cried twice in movie theaters. No, maybe 4 times. But once was with the Spider-Man thing, and the other time was when Captain Kirk died in Star Trek Generations. You guys have probably never seen that movie, but it was.
I'm with you, Andrew. I'm with you.
That was my dad was laughing because he saw me crying, and Captain Kirk was like, "Oh my!" His last words in the movie were "Oh my." Who writes the last words of a dying man is "Oh my"? I mean, Mr. Swanson, tell us what is the better language to say when you're dying than "Oh my"? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, oh my suggests what I think it's. So Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek,
Yeah.
he was an optimist. He thought that the whole idea that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice, right? And I think so. Probably what Kirk saw at the end was this "oh my," as in, "Wow, it's even better than I thought."
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I'll take that. I was always
Next
like
great adventure. Yep.
regretting that decision.
Yeah.
But now maybe I need to rethink my. Maybe I need to cry all over again and watch that stupid movie. And
Or you don't, and just have a summary.
in Endgame, Iron Man's famous last words were not saying what happened, but his words in the last line that he has in the movie is, "I am Iron Man." That was
Iron Man.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Andrew.
Andrew's gone.
Andrew just froze out. Ah.
Oh no. Santa's got him.
But well,
There you
go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just saying you froze out for a second.
Oh, so Iron Man's last words, I think, were very, very easy for me to understand. But maybe he should have said something like "Oh my" instead of "I am Iron Man." Maybe that would be better. I do want to. I do want to honor our 30-minute time frame, but my next question is any Marvel rumors out there? Do you guys have any Marvel rumors? What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of months or years? What do you guys think?
I just from what I'm hearing, out the same guy who leaked a lot of the Infinity War stuff, he was talking about all the X-Men characters being brought out through WandaVision. I mean, that's how the mutants got in through, and now that they own it, I mean, they own every single Marvel character. Plus, they'll have Deadpool coming back out. They got Venom going into Spider-Man. There's a whole new thing going on with the Eternals, Kang the Conqueror. I mean, there's so many storylines in Marvel from all the comic books that they can go really anywhere that they want. And with Kevin Feige doing all of it, that really makes a huge difference because he can keep all the stories. As long as nothing happens to him, we should be okay.
For those who are not familiar, Marvel Comics owns all the rights to their characters, but when they were going bankrupt back in the early 90s, 80s, they sold the movie rights to different studios, like Sony Pictures or Warner Brothers or different places. And so Disney, when they bought Marvel Studios and connected that, they've been slowly buying back all the rights to all their characters, like Spider-Man. They still don't own, they co-own that with Disney, with Sony. But so anyway, what Jason's saying is really interesting because Disney got all bold and bought Fox company, not Fox News, but the company of Fox. So they actually bought all the X-Men rights back. So now Marvel can make X-Men movies, not Fox, which is interesting. And Marvel or Disney also owns The Simpsons, so that's kind of weird, but that's kind of cool too.
No, How dare they? Simpsons the best. How dare they?
We'll save that for another video chat because Simpsons is like one of the most longest running cartoon shows there ever was. So that's kind of an interesting conversation some other day.
The best cartoon.
I've got a question for everybody on this one. Okay, now you think about this. Would you watch this movie? A movie with Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Deadpool. Come on. You know that it would be just almost like a buddy cop movie. Think of all the things that could possibly happen in that with all the regeneration stuff, with all the acrobatics and the quick comeback lines. That'd be great. That'd be a fantastic movie.
Sounds interesting.
Mila, what do you think about that kind of movie? Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Deadpool.
I mean, I think it's super with all three of them. Sometimes serious when it needs to be, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, before we end today, let's remind you guys about our afterschool.com website. And also next week, we're going to do a new theme for our after school or our video series. It's called Teacher Shipwrecked.
Okay.
And how it works is I'm going to find 2 teachers at Watt High, and they're going to talk about how awesome their classes are, the content they teach, and you guys get to ask questions about their classes, and at the end we vote to see who stays on the island. And so it'll be a fun, interactive way to interact with teachers and Watt High students. Catherine Curl suggested it, and so we'll see. I'll announce that pretty soon which teachers will be on the island and who survives, quote unquote. So that should be fun. I'm excited about that. But before we close up shop, if you had a chance to watch one movie on the red carpet that was a Marvel movie, which one would it be? Out of all the Marvel movies that have gone so far, we'll start with Mila, since you're on the bottom of my list here. Mila, what movie would you love to see on the red carpet?
Not super hard. I would love to see a Thor movie on the red. I would love to see one of his. As you know, I would stick with Thor.
Okay.
One of his many. Like, I would love to see number 1, but then Thor. I don't know. I would pick any Thor movie.
Any Thor movie? Gotcha.
Probably number 1 or number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Garrett, what about you?
Probably the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
All right. Interesting choice. What about Mrs. Bertinelli? Which movie, if you could see on the red carpet, would you want to see?
Iron Man, for sure.
The first one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wise choice.
What about Aiden? Which Marvel movie would you like to see out of the couple you've seen? Are you there, Aiden? We'll come back to Aiden. Mr. Swanson. Mr. Swanson, if you could see one Marvel movie. You're muted right now. Well,
looks like there's maintenance.
Jason, what about, or Mr. Thor, what about you?
I'd actually have to watch Captain America: The First Avenger.
Really? Wow.
It's still on.
It's a good movie.
If I could see a movie on the red carpet, it would have been Endgame. Would have loved to have seen that. My aunt, who's older than, not dirt, but she's older.
Maybe they're hanging on the stick.
Dude, whose grandson was a producer on Endgame and got to go to the red carpet, and she just got to go because she's dating his grandfather, and she got to see all of the Avengers. My aunt, who's like, almost 85, and I'm like, Aunt Joe, why didn't you tell me about this? She's like, oh yeah, I got to meet all those the Chris guys and the guys, but they had really good snacks. And I was like, Aunt Joe, I don't care about the snacks. and we went to this after party, and we got to meet all of them again. And that was kind of lame because all I wanted was the special meatballs that they had there. I was like, the meatballs. So,
The meatballs are the wise choice.
she posted the meatball pictures, not the pictures with like she actually met Scarlett Johansson, and I was just so frustrated with my aunt. My cousin and I were very frustrated with her. But any question? If you could go on the red carpet to any Marvel movie, which movie would you go to? I don't know if you can hear me. And I know Mr. Estes is on the call just at the end here. Mr. Estes, do you want to tell us your favorite Marvel movie? You have to unmute yourself. No, looks like he doesn't know how to do that yet. I will show him how to do it. I need to instruct people more on the muting.
Gotta save people from the muting power.
No,
I'm good to go.
Okay, Mr.
Hey,
could you tell us
your
favorite Marvel movie, and if you could go to the red carpet, which Marvel movie would you go to?
Well, I'm old school. We back in the days when you had Mighty Mouse and all those characters, and Flash Gordon, and so I don't know.
Sure.
It's been a long time,
Have you seen any recent Marvel movies like within the last 15 years?
Well, not Marvel movies, but well, yeah, my kids are young, and no, I haven't.
Okay.
Glanced at them, but no.
We're missing out.
Missing out. We got to hook you up. I got a couple of those DVD things in my closet. to hook you up with. I'm actually going to town on Thursday or Friday, so I'll hook you up with something. But
Punisher. He's a Marine too.
Yeah. we don't talk about Punisher. He had guns, guns in schools. No. Anyway. Well, you guys, we're a little bit over time, but thank you for joining us. Next week we're going to do teacher shipwreck. Who lives? You decide. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll explain that more to you guys later. But thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a blessed Tuesday. And we will be seeing you guys soon. So thank you guys.
Hey, you as well, Andrew. Everybody take care and stay healthy and safe.
Yeah. All
right.
Have fun.
Bye.
Jason, thank you for doing that. Oh.